There have always been, and there will always be, controversial decisions made by referees in football games. Some are as a result of a minor error on the referee's part. However, some controversial calls seem so blatant that you nearly feel like the referee was paid to make a ridiculous call like that. In 2016, the video assistant referee was introduced in some leagues to help curtail controversial decisions by giving the referee extra pairs of eyes and more angles to examine the foul frog than as virtually all the major football leagues and tournaments have adopted this technology. Here we look at some of the most controversial decisions that have been made during a football game. We'll be starting with the most recent controversy in the world of football: the Sterling dive that the referee blew as a penalty for England in their Euro 2020 semi-final game against Denmark. Denmark had gone ahead in the 30th minute of the game with a brilliant free kick by Mikkel Damsgaard, but England pulled one back 9 minutes later and dragged the game to extra time. It was in the first half of extra time that Sterling drove into the 18-yard box and fell to the ground when there was obviously no contact from Joachim Meichler. The ref immediately blew for a penalty, and even after consulting the video assistant refs, he refused to change his decision and would not go to the pitch side monitor to check for himself either. This controversial moment was a very huge one, as it pretty much lost Denmark the game. Although Kasper Schmeichel, the Danish goalie, saved Kane's spot kick, the England skipper scored from the rebound, and that goal sent England to the final. This headline is enough to paint clear images in the minds of anyone who followed the 2010 World Cup in South Africa. This was just a round of 16 game, but it ended up being one of the most memorable moments of the tournament. In the first half of the game, the star-studded Three Lions was already down 2-1 against a formidable Germany. However, in the 38th minute, Lampard struck a fine shot from outside the box and put England level, or so they thought. And well, so we thought, so every commentator thought, so the coaching staff of both teams thought, so the fans thought, so everybody around the world thought. Except the referee. The ball hit the crossbar and very evidently completely crossed the line before it bounced back, and Neuer grabbed hold of it and continued play. Frank Lampard, who had already gone off to celebrate, was devastated when he didn't hear the referee's whistling. This was such a big moment in the history of modern football, as this was the main motivation to introduce technology to assist referees with decisions like this. 2 years later, goal line technology was introduced. Number 3. Robert Hoyzers scandal. You know, sometimes you watch a game and suspect that the match had been fixed because of the poor officiating. Most times it all ends as a suspicion, but well, not this time. Robert Hoyzers, a German referee, was found guilty of taking a bribe of $46,000 and, wait for it, a television to make sure that Paderborn went through against match favorites Hamburg in a German Cup game. How did he do it? Well, Paderborn were 2 goals down, so Robert just awarded 2 ridiculous penalties against Hamburg and even sent one of their players off. Anyway, Hoyzers didn't get away with it as he was tried for his corruption and was given a 2-year, 5-month prison sentence. Number 4. Nigeria vs Cameroon, AFCON 2000 final. Their final, which was held in the national stadium, Lagos, Nigeria, was tightly contested. It ended 2-2 after extra time, and so the winner had to be decided on penalties. Everything seemed to be going well until Victor Ikpeba stepped up for his spot kick. He converted as the ball had clearly crossed the line. However, the referee Murad Dami counted it as a miss, which pretty much cost Nigeria the trophy in front of their home fans, as they ended up losing 4-3 on penalties. This colossal error on the referee's part led to huge riots in the city of Lagos. Number 5. Tottenham Vs City, UEFA Champions League 2019. This quarter-final UEFA Champions League game between these two English sides is still one of the most memorable VAR-influenced games. First, Llorente scored to put Spurs in front in the 73rd minute. City players protested as they all felt Llorente used his hand to control the ball first. The referee went to the pitch-side monitor and decided he was satisfied with the goal. Like that wasn't enough. In additional time at the second half, Sterling thought he had equalized for the Manchester club and put them through, but after a few moments and a lot of celebration from City players and supporters, the goal was ruled out for offside. Manchester City ended up losing the game 4-3, and Tottenham progressed and even made it all the way to the final. Number 6, Clive Thomas's premature full-time whistle. In a group stage game in the 1978 World Cup between Brazil and Sweden, Clive Thomas awarded a corner kick to Brazil in the dying seconds of the game, and then went on to blow the whistle for full time just after the ball was flown into the box. Anybody who watches football knows that that is such an awkward time to blow the final whistle. And well, it was even worse because Zico went ahead to score from that corner, but it couldn't stand because the final whistle had already been blown. The game ended 1-1. Number 7, Henry's handball assist. In a crucial World Cup qualifying game in 2009, France were a goal down to Ireland in extra time and on the brink of failing to qualify for the 2010 World Cup after making it to the final in the previous campaign. In the 102nd minute, France got a free kick. The ball was crossed into the box, but it seemed to have missed everybody and was going to go out for an Ireland goal kick. So Thierry Henry, who was closest to the ball, stopped it from crossing the line by slapping it with his left hand before he put it across to William Gallas, who scored. Normally, the referee should have blown for a handball and awarded a free kick to Ireland. Instead, he let the goal stand. This decision was heavily controversial, as that goal was enough to deny Ireland a place in the 2010 World Cup. Number 8, Tom Overbo, UEFA Champions League 2009. Surely, this is a name that Chelsea fans will never forget. Although the London club has gone on to win 2 Champions League titles since then, I still doubt that they have completely forgotten Tom Overbo for denying them their second UEFA Champions League final in as many years. It's hard to point out which exact moment to talk about as there were so many. Denied penalties, unwarranted bookings, the whole lot. According to many Chelsea fans, they could have been awarded up to 4 penalties in the second leg of the semi-final alone. Barcelona fans, as well as many football pundits, have over the years tried to debunk claims that Tom was partial in that semi-final game. But the least you can say is that was a very controversial game, and one that is always remembered as such. Number 9, side netting goal. Stefan Kiesling's goal for Bayer Leverkusen against Hoffenheim is one of the most bizarre goals you will ever get to see in modern football. The referee, Felix Breische, awarded the goal. To be fair to the German ref, it was nearly impossible to see what actually happened in real time, and there was no VAR to review the decision. Number 10, the hand of God. Much doesn't need to be said about this. This is perhaps the singular, most controversial goal ever scored in the history of the game. Diego Maradona scored the first goal of the quarterfinal game against England in the 1986 World Cup. In his own words, a little with his head and a little with the hand of God. Maradona, who died in November 2020, then went on to double his tally in that game with what is widely regarded as the goal of the century. Argentina won that game 2-1 and went on to win the tournament. This goes to show that yet again, many of these seemingly little decisions usually have huge effects in the grand scheme of things. For more videos like this, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and turn on the bell notification so you never miss an upload. Thank you very much for watching. See you guys in the next video.